Robot Damashii Full Armor Unicorn Gundam. Hey, what's up again everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs, 2Bs, GundamReviews.net. Here today taking a look at this Robot Damashii. It's my first Unicorn Gundam, and he's going to be in this Unicorn mode, but more importantly, like the HGUC, there with his bad ankles, he's going to be full armored, which I've lent over here to Destroy mode, so let's see how this RD works out. May 2013 release. The Robot Spirit Side Mobile Suit number R140 here. It retails for 5,500 yen, but you can get it for even less from the good folks at HobbyLink Japan, Robot Damashii, Gunpla, and so much more. There's full links below. For the box tour, here you can see the lead Gundams as you're going to get this nice bookshelf-like display. And here's a size comparison. The Sazabi box is going to be huge, although this is still going to be bigger than most. For the box tour, yes, how about those possibilities? As you can see here that most of the art on the back is just going to be focused on the actual Gundam itself and not so much the full armor there. You get to see actions, you get to see posability, you get to see some pretty good gimmicks there. It'll be interesting to see exactly how that would stack up compared to the Destroy mode. You can see them there with some Gatlings in hand, so you can do a little bit of FA mixing there if you want. The Beam Saber is very prominent. But this is what it's all about if you want to go full armor. Looks like some interesting color choices. Let's see how it looks inside. So let's take a look here when it's all slid out of the packaging. A couple of layers here. The main layer there is going to have the MS itself. You've got the booster units, some big beam sabers down there, and then parts of the bazookas with a whole bunch of missiles there to go along with the brace to hold it on the back, and a beam magnum with some different colored ammo. And you can see lots of attachment points and manipulators. And then it's going to be Gatling guns, 3 shields there, the rest of the parts for the bazookas, and a base with extra arms there to help get this guy Ariel where he needs to be. Barely posed out of the box. Well, you can see that if you like this plain all-white body, he's going to be looking pretty sharp there with just a little bit of gray poking through. You can see that you're going to have some attachment points down there, but otherwise the focus is going to be on that unicorn horn and perhaps the beam sabers folded into the forearms. But does it pose? Well, let's take a look here. You can see independent front moving skirts for a kick forward, and check out this knee bend there. You're going to get a 90 nice and easy, but when you go for more, you'll notice that this part here is going to be splitting and exposing some gray or silver part there on the inside. Psycho frame it isn't, but it's still a nice touch that it's going to be looking that good down there. The ankles, when you take a look at that, look at the intricacies that it's going to be there on the inside. It's going to move well side to side and front and back. You can see even more on the inside. Looking good so far. And something that sets this guy apart from the high grade is he's actually going to have some extra color apps there. He's not all white. And for the waist, what are you going to be able to do? Bend forward, bend back, side to side. It's going to stay in place there. The shoulders, you can see, want to come up a little bit. They've got this white part there. That's going to fold up or down as needed. Rotate as you'd expect there, and the shoulders will go like this. And what can you get with the elbows? Well, you're going to get 90. And it doesn't look like you can get much more unless you go and just fiddle around with that at the bottom. And you can get it up for a near 180. And the beam sabers, yes, they do come down and pop out. And the head here is going to be moving quite nicely. This is the comparison that I was most interested in seeing. You can see the HGUC over here on the right. This is also the full armor variety. You can see that there's going to be slightly different shades down there, as you've got blue as opposed to a much darker navy or black over there for his toes. But otherwise, this guy is going to have a lot more details just if you want to go ahead and add some lining. Of course, you're free to go do that. I wonder how a $2 lining marker would work against this kind of plastic. And though he looked a little bit skinny compared to the high-grade Universal Century, you can see that Robot Damashii is generally going to have a little bit more of a streamlined effect when you're looking at lead Gundams, as you can see from the long chest section here. That's a little bit skinny in the waist when you're looking at Flitz, age 1 normal, who's ready to go off in the next Fast and Furious movie. If you want to start with the beam sabers, though, they're looking really good as they've got some frosted white down there as they're coming out. You can just swap off the hands and actually have the beam saber holders, and I've got to say that so far for ground poses, responsive, solid, and easy to get them where you want. And if you want to arm them up a la the regular Unicorn Gundam, you absolutely can. You've got the shield here, which has some nice little details, silver on both sides, and they're actually going to be folding out there. You can see where it attaches on, some good details on the front. And the beam magnum, always impressive. The HGUC will never go there to have different weapons in terms of the colors here for the extra ammo packs. You can take this and plug this into the back of the backpack. You've also got this moving part. And the bazookas, if you just want to take off all the rockets from them, you've got these two different pieces. You can also take off the grenade launcher, attach that on, and you'll notice that it's also going to have a backpack connection point, so you can arm them up traditionally. And to get the proper manipulator on here, you're just going to bend that part down and then lock it back into place. And when he's up on an action base here, which you'll note it's actually going to be attached in the middle, that's going to come into play when you put on the booster units there. But the bazooka is going to be fitting in there nicely. You can use those beam sabers if you want. The shield connector, quite impressive. You can put it here, or rotate it around and actually put it on the inside of the forearm. And he's got no problem looking down the barrel of his beam magnum. And for the weigh-in here, we've got the HGUC, and he's going to be coming in at 56 grams down there, with the much more solid-ankled Robot Damashii coming in at 71 grams. But this is the full armor Unicorn Gundam, which means regular bazookas are not enough here. Here you can see the grenade launcher looking good, some nice detail down there for the barrel. You've got the red parts here. These will rotate around and detach easily if you want to go regular bazooka. And check this out, something we haven't seen on previous versions. You can actually take those off individually as you've got them 3x3 there. You can take this part, plug that in down there. Nothing, though, to do with the ammo on the back. That's not going to detach itself. And the Gatling guns, I've got to say, are looking pretty good down here. The barrels leave something to be desired, though. But you've got swinging parts here and here. This one's actually going to be locked in place. And if you take a look there, you've just got this little hook-like piece there. So you can actually take the Gatling guns and put them in hand as a weapon just by popping that into a downward position. But you will see some ugly parting lines there and some ugly scratches. The kind of thing that if you've got a gray lining marker around, you can fix up easily, but still disappointing when you see it right out of the box. And they do fit nicely into the hand here, as they're going to be fitting around that beam saber compartment and a little triangular clasp back there. The only thing to be aware of is I've had these shoulders fall off a couple times, but still, these look good. The double traffic lights for the legs there are going to fit in very nicely, but they're not going to be opening, which we've seen on other versions, and you are going to have the odd, ugly white scratch mark there facing forward. And before he goes ground Gundam hunting, well, what do you think of the colors? Not too crazy about that light blue down there, but nonetheless, the shields are working really well when you actually get the Gatling guns on the right way, and that, with just 4, seems like a lot of pain, with more to be added to his hiking backpack, which is going to start to be constructed by taking off the backpack, separating this part here, this oval, and then you can just put that around, and it actually goes into place nicely. And then you have this blue piece of plastic here, which is going to serve the same function as the forearm beam saber holder there. So you put in the 2 Gatling guns there, put the shield on, and then you can plug this into the back of the actual backpack there. And with 6 Gatling guns on there and 3 shields, even Heavy Arms is impressed. And the bazookas fit in here very well because that same fold down mechanism that is going to allow one of them to hang off the backpack is going to keep them in here rock solid, as long as he doesn't go toppling forward due to the weight or back, which until you get it balanced just right can seem a little bit tricky. But overall, the quality of the ankles and the knee bends here, and just what you can do with the legs, he's doing a decent job despite the fact that he's not up in the air yet. Everything is brought to bear here. All he's missing is a little bit of boost. Because now it's time to bring this complicated concoction here to bear. You're going to take him and actually put the Unicorn Gundam at the front, as this is going to be going back, and these are going to be holding up the boosters. They're going to be moving nicely, and these parts down here can actually pinch as well. And the booster units, I've always been a fan of them for the high grade and for the master grade. This part here doesn't want to come off, but if you take a look at all the details that are going to be going into the thrusters on the back, some nice paint apps there, nice connection there between the silver and that little bit of red striping as you get ready to attach it. For this kind of end result here, if you don't mind looking down and seeing that on your shelf, the boosters are looking good. I'm not crazy about the baby blue, as you've heard, but the red parts and the Gatling guns and the shields, everything is where it should be, and the fact that you've got some good posability. And when he's elevated here, if you don't mind looking down and seeing that kind of base on display, the boosters are going to be at a very nice angle there, and you can move the arms to exactly where you want them to be. The Gatling guns, the bazookas, this guy looks like he's totally loaded for bear, if you can get past the fact that he's got those 3 arms down. In terms of overall looks, I think he's ready to go at the end of episode 6 and meet the Banshee Norn before they all get really coolified, destroyified, and then friendlyified. And finally, to compare them to the high-grade Universal Century, you can see that the main weapons themselves are going to be the same color. You've got some details. They're going to be looking similar, although the paint apps are way better here on the robot Damashii. The big difference being the bazookas are a nice color, and these leg parts here are going to be that blue, whereas this is just going to be all melded in. Do you prefer seeing more? And ultimately, do you like them in unicorn mode, destroy mode, red, green, or maybe they'll add another flavor? So some final thoughts now, bad and good. Well, I think the big one for me is just that blue color. I'd rather go with the blandness of the HGUC and the Master Grade that we've seen before. I really don't like that baby blue. However, that's going to be up to you. The rockets themselves are not going to be opening, that's not too exciting. And the Unicorn Gundam, when he's just as a regular MS, is going to be coming across as a little bit skinny and lanky, similar to the Age 1s. But how about those pluses? Actually, I've got to say I'm very, very impressed with the Unicorn mode. I'm a much bigger fan of the Destroy mode myself, but this Unicorn Robot Damashii, he moves so well, the knees are incredible, the ankles are great, the shields and the silver details, I'm very impressed with them. The Gatling guns give you lots of play options and they attach on incredibly well with lots of moving points, and the bazookas, it's not all that exciting, but the attachment points work fantastic. Plug them into the backpack, you've got all sorts of things that can swap on and off here, especially when you go full armor, and when you combine that with a rock-solid stand, and you can see there that the boosters look good, especially those color apps there, and they don't need to be propped up by the extra arms that they're still going to be giving you. This guy, when you combine the fact that you've got a great MS for the Unicorn Gundam and Robot Damashii, maybe my favorite form for him, and then the full armor is just going to add a lot more oomph, definitely recommended. So those are just my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours as well, and don't forget to go to gundamreviews.net and vote to rate this guy. And of course, please let me know what you think and stick around for lots more news, reviews, and everything else you can use. Thanks for watching, everybody. See ya. Hey, when the new Gundam comes out with his heavy weapon system, I'm gonna be borrowing your shield.